Why was my neighbor just tear gassed? It's November 11th, 2024, 10:52 a.m. My neighbor here at Red Onion State Prison's B3 solitary confinement cell block was just tear gassed for the most absurd reason, which is typical here, where white guards don't use force because they need to, but rather because they want to. And they look for any pretext, or none at all, to justify these gratuitous assaults on a defenseless, predominantly black prisoner population. I was alerted to the situation when I heard a Sergeant Rosenbaum at my neighbor's door telling him to take a piece of paper off his life. There was no obstruction of view, no visibility inside his cell. Then came the pretext for force. He was ordered to submit to being put on strip cell. That is, he was to be put in an empty, unheated cell with no clothes except boxes. He did not cooperate. Instead, his responses throughout the entire exchange consisted of such statements as he had paper on his life, quote, because there was poison gas coming from the light, end quote. It was apparent that mental health staff, not violence, was the most appropriate and humane response, if any, to the situation. But of course, no one from mental health was summoned. Instead, the notoriously racist and abusive Lieutenant Joshua Massengill was called to the cell, bringing with him a 12.5-ounce canister of mace. This being the same Massengill who I've written about assaulting numerous blacks and calling them racist names. Needless to say, my neighbor is black. Only too eager to assault someone, Massengill gave my neighbor an immediate ultimatum: submit the strip cell or gas would be utilized. As my neighbor continued to talk incoherently, Massengill gasped. I stood watching this flagrant abuse of force, internally raging. That he had a piece of paper on his life was no reason to gas him. He was no threat, nor was the piece of paper. It was just a pretext to assault a defenseless man for nothing. Actually, covering one's life is legally justified here at Red Onion, where the cells remain constantly illuminated, which is illegal, by the way. As the federal courts have stated, quote, there is no legitimate penological justification for requiring inmates to suffer physical and psychological harm by living in constant illumination. This practice is unconstitutional. That comes from the case Keenan versus Hall, 83, Federal 3rd, 1083, 1996. Then when they brought him out of the cell blinded and choking from the gas, the guards tried to put my neighbor under a hot water shower as a pretended decontamination. All know that water, hot water in particular, does not decontaminate anyone of gas, but rather it reactivates and enhances the burning of the gas. This was actually admitted to me by Captain Ingram on October 30, 2023, on his body camera at Virginia Sussex 1 State Prison. He revealed that Virginia's guards are trained to use milk to decontaminate one of gas, not water, because as said, water reactivates gas and makes it burn more. Ingram is a chemical weapons instructor at Virginia Prison System's Guard Training Academy. Yet nowhere in the Virginia prison system are there any decontamination facilities. So while gas is used almost daily in prisons like Red Onion, prisoners are never actually decontaminated. The courts have held that failing to decontaminate a prisoner after gas exposure is also unconstitutional. See Williams versus Benjamin, 77 Federal 3rd, 756, 4th Circuit, 1996. Worse still is these weapons are particularly dangerous, although officials attempt to play down their lethality. As I've written various times, tear gas, OC gas, etc., are chemical weapons much like chlorine gas that have been banned from use in war under international law because of their torturous and dangerous effects. This while the manufacturers of these weapons constantly enhance and upgrade their effects with little to no regulation, making them even more torturous and harmful while operating under the false cover of these weapons being non-lethal and mild alternatives to other weapons. I have witnessed and reported on numerous prisoners who suffered and died as a result of these agents. Yet their use reckless and with little to no justification, as just happened to my neighbor. That they're placed in the hands of racist abusers like Massengill and Red Onion guards, who obviously can't be trusted to wield the absolute power given them over defenseless, even mentally disabled people like my neighbor. This is Kevin Rashid Johnson coming to you from within America's Gulag Archipelago. Dare to struggle, dare to win. All power to the people.
These commentaries are recorded by Prison Radio.
We state these facts only to let you know that those of us who are revolutionary, Pan-Africanists, is not because we love revolution. It is historically determined, and we have no alternative but to follow history and to use history for the benefit of our people.